The holographic display flickered to life across 1,000 worlds simultaneously. Commander HFY Thor of the Galactic Entertainment Commission stood before the assembled representatives, his crystalline form refracting the light into dancing patterns. "Welcome, citizens of the Galactic Union, to the 447th Primitive Survival Challenge." His voice echoed through translation devices. 10 species, each believing themselves superior. 1 uninhabited planet. 0 technology. Last team standing wins eternal glory and a planetary system of their choice. The rules were simple, as they had been for millennia. Contestants would be stripped of all advanced technology, dropped onto a hostile world with only the clothes on their backs, and forced to survive using only what nature provided. No weapons. No tools. No fire-starting devices. Just raw survival instinct. Among the contestants stood Lieutenant Marcus Wright of Earth's newly contacted humanity. Tall, lean, with weather-worn hands and calculating eyes, he looked utterly unremarkable compared to the towering Kragnoth warriors, the swift Veluxian hunters, or the telepathic Mindari collective. Primitive survival, Marcus muttered to his teammate, Dr. Emily Rodriguez, a biologist who'd spent 3 years in the Amazon before first contact. They have no idea what that actually means to us. The galactic observers thought this would be entertaining. Humanity's first appearance in the games. They'd given Earth 3-1 odds of being eliminated first. The transport beams deposited all 10 teams simultaneously across the planet's largest continent. Marcus and Emily materialized in a dense forest, the twin suns hanging low on the horizon. "We've got maybe 2 hours of light," Emily assessed, already scanning the undergrowth. "The other teams will be looking for shelter, water sources." "Let them look," Marcus replied, dropping to one knee and pulling a flat stone from the ground. He examined it, nodded, and pocketed it. "We're not looking. We're building." While the Kragnoth team argued about the best tree to sleep under, and the Veluxians ran in circles trying to memorize their territory, Marcus had already identified 3 types of stone, found a fallen log with the right kind of dry wood inside, and located a grove of straight saplings. Emily, meanwhile, had gathered tinder, dry grass, bark shavings, and a bird's nest, while mentally cataloging every edible and medicinal plant in sight. "The other teams think technology means computers and starships," she said, arranging the tinder carefully. "They forgot that technology just means using tools to solve problems." Marcus struck his stones together. Once. Twice. On the 3rd strike, a spark caught in the tinder. He blew gently, and smoke began to curl upward. Across the planet, in the orbital observation station, alarms began to blare. "Impossible." HFY Thor's crystalline body flashed red. "They've only been on the surface for 18 minutes. How could they have built a fire-starting device already?" "Sir," a technician squeaked, "they didn't build anything. They're just hitting rocks together. That's absurd. Fire requires advanced chemical ignition or..." HFY Thor stopped, his form flickering uncertainly. "Replay their actions." The footage showed Marcus, unhurried and methodical, striking flint against steel-bearing stone, creating sparks exactly as his grandfather had taught him during camping trips in the Rockies decades ago. "Consult the rule database," HFY Thor ordered. "Is this a violation?" Minutes later, the answer came back, "No sir. Rocks are natural materials. No rules prohibit striking them together. But fire is advanced technology." "No sir. Fire is a natural phenomenon. The rules prohibit bringing fire-starting devices, not creating fire itself." HFY Thor's form pulsed with confused colors. In 447 iterations of this game, across thousands of species, not one had ever created fire on the first day. Most never created it at all. By nightfall, the human camp looked like a Stone Age village. A proper fire roared in a carefully constructed pit. Marcus had fashioned a hand axe by hafting a sharp stone to a wooden handle using plant fiber cordage that Emily had made by weaving grass stems. They had a shelter with a waterproof roof made from large leaves, a supply of firewood, fish roasting on sticks, and sharpened spears for defense. The Kragnoth, shivering and miserable, had finally managed to pile some leaves together for warmth. The Voluptuans had caught a small creature but were eating it raw, their digestive systems barely handling it. The Mindari Collective, accustomed to climate-controlled environments, had 3 members already sick from exposure. Status report on all teams, HFY demanded. Sir, 8 of 10 teams have secured basic shelter. 6 have located water. 4 have caught food. And the humans? The technician paused. The humans have established what our anthropologists are calling a semi-permanent settlement with late Paleolithic characteristics. It's been 1 day. Yes, sir. By day 3, Marcus had a bow. A actual functioning bow with arrows. Emily had woven a basket for gathering and had established 3 separate food sources, fish from a nearby stream, edible tubers, and a bird trap that consistently caught protein. The observation station was in chaos. Betting pools had shifted wildly. Earth's odds had gone from 3-1 elimination to 2-1 favorites to win. How are they doing this? HFY demanded, watching Marcus teach Emily to pressure flake stone tools to create sharper blades. An elderly Mindari anthropologist, brought in as a consultant, settled his consciousness into the communication array. Commander, most species in the Galactic Union achieved fire approximately 500 years before space travel. Humanity had fire for nearly 400,000 years before reaching space. They didn't just survive the primitive era, they mastered it. For humans, this isn't a survival challenge. This is nostalgia. By day 7, the humans had a compound. Walls made from woven branches. Multiple fire pits. A smoking rack preserving meat. Clay pots hardening by the fire. Marcus was working on a kiln. They're going to invent pottery, a technician whispered in awe. In a survival game. They're going to invent pottery. The other teams were barely hanging on. The Kragnoth had lost 2 members to infected wounds they got from trying to copy human stone tools without understanding the techniques. The Voluptuans had fractured their team over leadership disputes. The Mindari had voted to withdraw entirely, citing unfair advantages possessed by species with opposable thumbs and pathological persistence. On day 10, Marcus stood on a ridge, overlooking the valley where 3 other teams were struggling to survive in camps barely more sophisticated than animal dens. He held his bow, arrows fletched with bird feathers, the string made from animal sinew. Emily approached with a basket full of medicinal herbs. We could share our fire, she said quietly. Some of them are dying out there. Marcus nodded slowly. We will. But first, they need to understand something. He raised his voice, knowing the orbital cameras were tracking him. You called this a primitive survival challenge. You thought stripping away our computers and starships would make us helpless. But you forgot something important. He held up his hand axe, perfectly balanced, its edge sharp enough to shave with. We weren't always starfarers. We built our civilization 1 stone at a time, 1 fire at a time, 1 tool at a time. You gave us a survival challenge, but for humanity, survival has never been the challenge. Survival is what we do while we're getting ready to thrive. In the observation station, HFY made a decision. End the game. Declare humanity the winners. Sir, there are still 6 days left in the... I said end it. His form flashed bright red. Before they build a radio and call for pizza delivery. The human team was beamed back to the station, where Marcus and Emily stood before thousands of alien species, broadcast across the galaxy. Humanity, HFY announced, his voice carrying barely concealed respect mixed with something that might have been fear, has won the 447th Primitive Survival Challenge. They did so in 10 days. The previous record was 48. As the station erupted in cheers and stunned silence in equal measure, Emily leaned over to Marcus and whispered, "You know what's funny? We didn't even get to the iron smelting phase." Marcus grinned. "Maybe next time they'll give us a real challenge." Across the galaxy, military strategists watched the footage and came to the same conclusion: humanity had spent 200,000 years learning to thrive in the harshest conditions imaginable. They'd survived ice ages, crossed oceans on rafts, and turned every corner of their deadly planet into home. The Galactic Union had just invited Earth to join their community, thinking humans were newcomers who needed guidance. They were about to learn that you don't become apex predators by being civilized. You become civilized after you've already become apex predators. And humanity had been apex predators for a very, very long time.